Greetings. My name is Ted Hicks. I'm the founder, CEO, and Chief Investment Officer for Hicks Associates Wealth Management. Today is Friday, December 9th. And if you've been watching our channel for any length of time, you may have recently noticed that something on my wall has changed. And I just got a question on it, and it came in such a manner that I thought, well, maybe I should explain it to everybody else that is unaware of what this is. The question was very politely worded, but Ted, your background is so neat and tidy, but then there's this, what it looks like a cut up shirt hanging in a frame. What the heck is that? Well, it is a cut up shirt hanging in a frame. What's behind me is is my shirt tail. And one of the traditions in aviation is once you have taken your first solo, your certified flight instructor cuts off the back of your shirt. And in this case, David Greenfield was my flight instructor, and so he cut off my shirt after I took my first solo, and he marks it up, and I memorialized it by putting it in a shadow box. And if you look, the date says August 24th of 2013. So this used to be hanging in my Southern Pines office, but I recently decided to bring it here to the Cary office, and in particular, every time I look at this, it's 2013. Well, next year is 2023. It'll be the 10th anniversary of my solo flight, and I have not been flying for several years. And that's kind of one of my personal goals for 2023 is to get back in the cockpit. I know my son has been asking a lot about it, like, Dad, when are you going to go flying with me? When are we going to go flying? So that's one of my personal goals for next year. We'll see if the Lord allows that to happen. But anyway, that is the explanation for what is behind me. The other thing that I wanted to do today is just remind everybody or plant a seed about donor advised funds. So just earlier today, I made an extra gift from our donor advised fund, and I thought it would be a good example or a good time to explain what that is. In short, a donor advised fund is a way for you to budget your generosity. So one of the things that my wife and I do is we fund a donor advised fund every single month. And then throughout the year, we make gifts from that donor advised fund. And the reason we do this is we are trying to plan our generosity. And a donor advised fund is something that you can use to create that tax deduction if that's what you're looking for. But you don't actually have to distribute it to a charity immediately. So a good example of when donor advised funds are frequently used is when a client has a very large tax trigger. For example, their company gets bought out, or there's a very large commission check, or the business is sold. When there's a really large income for that particular calendar year, well, some of our clients take their giving very seriously. And so what we will sometimes do is we'll hear clients tell us that, well, I want to give 10% of this to charity, but I don't know that I want to give 10% of this to my typical charity because 10% of what just happened is a really big number. And so sometimes what we have helped clients do is we will help them set up a donor advised fund. So they go ahead and they give the money to this donor advised fund. And so for tax purposes, it is deemed given. So they get the immediate deduction. Well, consider this donor advised fund is a charity, and you're just sitting in the seat of the one that is advising on how the charity is going to be run. This is a very easy way to, for example, you're familiar with some of the large foundations like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation or the Carnegie Foundation or whatever. Those are huge. The average John Q. public doesn't have that kind of money to create a foundation. And so a donor advised fund is an easy way for clients to take advantage of some of the same things where we're putting money into an entity, and as soon as my wife and I make a gift to our donor advised fund, that money is no longer ours, okay? We do, however, get to determine what happens with that money. And so every month, what my wife and I do is we're putting money into our donor advised fund, and then sometimes we are distributing money regularly from that donor advised. There are some missionaries that we fund on a regular basis. And so we put money in every month, and that money goes out to the missionary every single month. But there are other entities that we like to fund on an annual basis. And so we'll put money into our donor advised fund on a monthly basis, but we'll only distribute once a year. So anyway, this video is not really designed to be an in-depth explanation of what a donor advised fund is. If you have any specific questions, feel free to reach out to me or my team. We are more than happy to see if we can't help explain it. This is not a sales pitch. We generally don't set donor advised funds up for our clients. We guide them. In other words, it's not through us. And again, we'll be happy to explain more of that. If you have any questions, just give us a shout out, and we're happy to help you. But this is frequently referred to as the giving season or the season of thanks, et cetera, et cetera. We would like to implore all of our clients to be generous all year long. And a donor advised fund is one of the ways that you can budget your generosity. And then throughout the year, if there is a tragedy, for example, there's an earthquake in Haiti, or there's lava now flowing in Hawaii, and you want to give to that relief effort through whichever charity you typically do. Well, if you've already got money in your donor advised fund, it's already there. All you need to do is deploy it. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or my team. Happy to help in any way that we can. In the meantime, Merry Christmas to everybody, and we'll talk to you again soon.